Hello and welcome to the Luxury Lounge. That's right. Every Thursday we head in the lounge, we shut the door, and we air our grievances with the world. And there's no grievance that's too big or too small or too frivolous. It is your problem, and it shall be heard. Now, I want to thank you for being part of the Luxury Lounge. I want to thank you for sending your emails. If you want your complaint read and commiserated with by myself and the guest of the day, send it to JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. That's JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Title of Luxury Lounge. Tell us what you're going to be complaining about. And also, we love specific. We love a true story, specificity. We love a real story that we can gnaw on the bone at. We can get into your complaint and feel your anger. We also like when they're like about yay long, about a thumb to a pointer finger. Make a little bracket. Let's do some self-editing, because if you sometimes the complaints get into, and listen, I'm guilty of this. When I do my complaint in the beginning, I'm like, maybe my 30-second complaint wasn't a 2-minute complaint. Maybe I'm just repeating myself at a certain point. So listen, let's do some editing. Maybe this podcast becomes a creative writing class. I don't know. But we appreciate your emails. We also want you to write the ones that can help this show the most to make it the best it can be. And again, I'm leaning on you a lot. I want you to write your emails, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. I want you to share this podcast with a friend, a coworker, a brother, a sister, a mama, a papa, anyone that wants to put their brain on the shelf to have something to hug them and make them feel good during those times of anxiety and pressures of life. No. I'm going to go on my walk and I'm going to let JTrain, Papa JT, and his guests take the wheel. That's what a podcast is all about. Let us take the wheel. I'm on the road. If you're listening right now, we're coming up to Thanksgiving time. Dania Beach. I'm going to be in Florida for Thanksgiving. Portland, Phoenix, Albany, San Diego, Madison, Wisconsin. That's like the end of my year into the new year. Madison is my first, my first weekend of the new year. But that's Dania Beach, Portland, Phoenix. If you're in any of those areas, if you know anyone in those areas, let them know. All of those towns are great towns. Albany, I could do without, but listen, we're going to do the shows. The shows will be fun. But I got a good run of places to go coming up. So come on out, assemble the group chat, tell the family, tell the friends. Yes, Albany, you too. I know I just made fun of your town, but that doesn't mean we won't have a great show. You got nothing in Albany. What do you got, the state capitol? Come on. Assemble the group chat. Let's go. JaredFreed.com for tickets. I also have a New York City show if you're in the New York area. That is something I want to get you into. Now, listen, very excited about today's guest. He has a new special called Mother of the Year. It is on YouTube right now. Doug Key, thank you for coming into the lounge. How are you?
I am honored to be here in the lounge. If you saw the setup I have right now, it's not very luxurious, but it's a lounge. I'm lounging.
I always explain this to the listeners as well as the guests. The luxury of the lounge is the ability to complain about anything and everything, and yes. No one can look at you and go, well, there's bigger issues. No, but what about? But no. Your problems are all that matter in the lounge. That is the luxury. Listen, we pay our membership every month to be able to have this. What's going on? The special
That's
Mother
true.
of the Year. Doug is incredibly funny. Everyone needs to go follow Doug on all social media, at Doug Key Comedy, at Doug Key Comedy. The link to the special is in the bio of this episode. You can watch it. You can enjoy it. Where'd you tape it, Doug Key?
Well, thank you for promoting it. It's my first special. I've been doing comedy 13 years. I've known you forever, pretty much since before I moved to New York. And I decided to record a special at my home club in Providence at the Comedy Connection.
We love the Comedy Connection. I love going there. I've performed there many times. I think we've performed there together.
I think I might have hosted for you early on. It's just a great room. It's an old bank that they converted into a comedy club. It's been a comedy club since like the 80s.
Yeah.
But they're under new ownership now, and they really spruced it up.
New ownership. The same owners have known us, since we started comedy. And over the years, they've like really taken this old bank that used to be like, it used to be like Roadhouse when we first would go there. It was like, rootin' tootin', people screaming at you. And it's beautiful now. It's like, and it's got good cameras, and they took the bar out of the showroom, and it's like, wow, this is maybe one of the best clubs in the country now. So you taped a special there, and
yes, it's the first special that's ever been taped or album that's been recorded at the club, which I was surprised to find out, just because so many legendary comics have done that room from Boston. Like a lot of the Boston guys would come and do weekends there, before they did like the Wilbur or something.
I would argue that that's because the bar was in the room. When the bar was in the room, people would be like, why would I tape an album here? I can't tape an album anywhere that a martini's being shaken.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, all it takes is like the producer to give a little courtesy etiquette update to the bar to be like, hey, just don't let's not do this.
We know that doesn't happen. You tape somewhere where your experience was so good that you're like, right, let's bring it back. I'm comfy, cozy. I don't have to worry about anything. And this room now, like when I went back the most recently to Providence, I was like, wow, this is like night and day. And it's not just because of the bar. I think it's a different feeling when there's, they even said they're like, they used to have pizzas. I remember that was like the thing that they'd have these, and they were good pizzas. It was like a greasy, delicious pizza. And they were like, we got rid of the pizza. It's over. This is a comedy room. And it's like, oh, okay, you've made a decision. Like, we're going comedy. Like, this is a showroom, So I can understand why over the years people were like, I don't know. I'm going to go there and do my crowd work and, and fight with a tiger. It's like, no. Now you go there to tape an album, tape a special. So you taped in Providence.
I taped in Providence. I will say, though, I did tape it before they did the actual renovation. It was like the old...
Don't ruin this. Come on. Yes, and me, Doug. Come on. I'm trying to...
But I will say that because I actually like being the first special to record there when it was the original room. So I'm the only comic that's ever recorded in the original shitty room with the bar in the back.
And they have chandeliers, which I always think is fun to see at a comedy show.
Yeah, it's like a haunted mansion in there.
I have to say, I had one of my best shows of the year there. The last time I was there, I really I would. It is worth taping at.
I've seen a lot of comics like Stavros. You post a lot of clips from that room. And I feel like it's that's why I told Corey, the owner, I was like, you got to bring that Comedy Connection sign down. So it's like in,
right. Let people
frame.
Free marketing. So everyone go check out Doug at Doug Key Comedy, the special Mother of the Year. It's out right now. You can put it on, stream it to your TV. It's a date night. It's a perfect night on the couch. You're going to love it. Are you ready to do some complaining?
Oh, yeah. A lot of complaints.
Okay, let's get into it. I'll do my complaint first. Hit the music, Shelby. Jared, he has some problems. Jared, he's got some issues to do. Get off his chest right now. Jared has a lot of issues. Jared has a issue with a lot of things that we can discuss. Can you relate to the problem now? Okay. Here's the problem. Okay. I book a lot of people. You and I, we went back and forth. Can you do noon on Monday? Let's get it done. Okay.
Flexibility.
You even changed the time. You messaged me. You're like, hey, I can jump on a little early. That's great. Honestly, and I get reached out to, and listen, I hope that everyone who listens goes and watches every special that we promote here. I really do. I only have people on that I think are funny and that people will enjoy. Like, I'm not it's not just take all comers,
Yeah.
I just got an email, and it's from someone I have booked on a future episode. Okay, so I don't want to cut their legs out beneath them, but this is the email. Okay. This is the email. I was wondering if there were... We have a time booked, okay?
Yes.
They reached out to me to do this podcast, which I appreciate. I hope they get 1 billion views from just the listeners here. Here's the email. I was wondering if there were any possible availability to do it Tuesday or Wednesday or possibly a little earlier Thursday with Jared this week. They're emailing this to Shelby. And Shelby sent me the email. Okay, so let me be as honest as I can be without giving away the information of who this is because I like this person. But this is just not how you go about things. Hi, Shelby. I was wondering if there were any possible availability to do Tuesday or Wednesday or possibly a little earlier Thursday with Jared this week. We already have a time scheduled. Okay, we have Thursday at 2 scheduled for a Zoom. He writes, I'm flexible. If not, the time we have booked is cool. I can make it work for sure. Then what is the reason for this email? You can make the time we have booked work. Here's the thing. I can't do the time. Can you do another time? Is perfectly reasonable. It's perfectly okay. Hey, can you switch the time? But if we can't switch, now you've made it my decision to be like, fuck off. I'm doing the time that I'm comfortable with. Yeah. Am I wrong here?
No, I think you're in the right. And if somebody reached out to you and you came back, like if I'm reaching out to you, you're giving me your availability. I'm going to flex to you. Like I went and rearranged some stuff so I could like do this. Even when you had to switch, I just had to shift things around and I was happy to because I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Right. But I also let you make the decision. Hey, don't sit in the gray. Hey, I can no longer do 4:00 on Monday. Can you do noon on Monday? You said yes. Done. That's it. If you had come back and been like, I am really sorry, I have this other thing going on at that time. Can you do 2:00 on Tuesday? Hit me back the ball. Don't hold on to the ball and go, well, I could hit it back, or like I could not, or like I don't know. If you want to like take the ball, maybe we go to the bathroom first. Like no. Be an adult. To me, this is someone writing back feeling like they might lose the sale. The sale is lost, okay? You have to assume you are good enough for the sale to be closed. And I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like you can't just, when you say to me, no, well, can you change to, have some fucking backbone and go, I can't do 2:00 on Thursday. Give me some other times.
It's as simple as a 5-word sentence, period. Can't do it.
This email, if not, the time we have booked is cool. So is it cool? You wrote a whole email to tell me it's not cool, but it's still cool.
Well, because that can fuck you up later if he actually can't do it, and now you just missed a whole slot that you could have filled with somebody else.
Right. It's just, and it's like, this is also like mental math that I'm not looking to do.
Right. Yeah.
JTrain
that's like planning date. What you're saying, it's like planning a date with somebody, and it's the same thing. It's like, just say you can't do it instead of be like, oh yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how that works. How that time works.
Hey, tonight's date might not work for me. Unless that's a problem, then I'll go. What?
Yeah.
That's not... either you own that you have a thing that came up or you don't. Let's go to your complaint. Doug, you got a complaint? Hit the music, Shelby. It's the guest's turn to complain. They're ready to jump in. They've got lots of problems too. It ain't all about Jared. Let's hear their complaint of the day. Let's hear their complaint of the day. They're invited on the show to have some fun and complain with you. Let's hear that complaint.
Okay, I'm Italian. I get hot a lot. I sweat a lot. My biggest complaint is these people that are always cold. I can't take the always cold people. When you're in the car with them, they have to turn, like, I put a sweater on. I can't take off more layers.
Right.
Just put a sweater on. I can't. Those people, when they think like, oh, I'm cold, I need to put the heat on, and it just ruins your life.
I'm with you. Getting cold is a problem you can fix. Getting hot is not a problem that I can fix in perpetuity. Do you know what I mean? Like, getting hot, you can only get so cool as time goes on.
Right.
Getting cold, you can keep putting layers on until you're a hamper. Like, you can keep putting on layers. So why is it always made the problem? If you're someone who gets cold, that is no one else's problem but your own. If you're someone who gets hot, that is a group problem. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And this was such a problem to a point when I was dating in New York. That was one of my prompts, was I had to put, I hope we're on the same page, about Antarctic levels of air conditioning at night.
Right.
That I had to, because you get to the point where you're in bed and they're like, oh, I can't do AC. I like it warm in here. I'm like, this isn't going to work.
Well, that's the thing. Like, well, can you put on a sweatshirt? Can you put on some mittens? Honestly, I'm jealous of those people. Is there anything more comfy cozy than being like wrapped up in this like cocoon of flannel that you could put on before bed? Like, at that point, you have the dream if you can sleep that way. I can't. I have to go less blankets, less comfort.
Right. I have to have that like natural ventilation. But yeah, everything in sleeping culture is cozy. Put another blanket on, put a pair of flannel pajama pants on. I don't know. That's my complaint. That's one of my complaints.
I'm with you. I think people who get cold don't think of other people. Like, again, you can do that. You can fix this silently. When you say, oh my God, it's so freezing in here. It also becomes like a judgment of everyone else who's like, fine. But it's like, no. You can put on a jacket. You can prepare. You know you're a person that gets cold. Own it. That's okay.
Yeah.
Put on some mittens. I don't mind. If I have to sit at a date with someone who's wearing mittens, I'd be like, okay, I get it. You didn't make it my problem. It's not like we had to sit under a heat lamp while I'm sweating it out like a piece of, like a roasted turkey at Costco.
Yeah. No, it's one of my biggest things. I can't do it. I used to have a bit where I would say, like, I think, I'm mostly against genocide, but I think the I'm always cold people deserve the oven, and they would like it. They would like it, I think. Right. They would enjoy it.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Fun reference with what's going on in the world. I'm sure the joke goes well. At JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Everyone keep sending your luxury lounge complaints. Let's get to the emails. You ready?
Hit me.
Before the emails, we are sponsored. The holidays are the best time to curl up with a hot cup of coffee. Here, these cold people, give yourself the gift of amazing coffee without leaving your home with Cometeer. Cometeer is hyper-fresh, flash-frozen coffee that you can make in seconds. Just toss a frozen puck into your cup, add hot water to melt. You can easily make lattes, iced coffees, and more with no fancy gadgets and annoying cleanup. I have to say, I am such a fan of Cometeer coffee. Okay, they bought a fish freezing facility in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and what they did was they figured out that coffee like goes bad right away. Most people are having tasteless, horrific coffee. They flash freeze it so that you're getting the most tasty coffee. And I doubted it at first because they sent it to me. It's the most delicious. There's no bite. There's no edge to it. I'm usually a sweet and low user. I don't even use sugar with it. It's actually the most delicious coffee. Like, it is, when people say, oh, this is like a nutty, this is this has a flavor. I always
oaky,
just like, I always like nod my head and I'm like, it all tastes the same to me. This has the oak. This has the nutty. This has the chocolate. You can taste it. And it's at home. You keep it in the freezer. They have these little pucks. You can make iced coffee, warm coffee. You can make espresso martinis, with it. It's so damn good. And I was a fan before they sponsored the podcast, and now I'm like happy.
I'm on board.
Involved here. Each serving of Cometeer is brewed from craft coffee beans from the very best roasters in the country. It's never burnt, never diluted, and keeps in your freezer until you're ready for a cup. I love it. You're going to love it. The most wonderful time of year just got tastier. Enjoy a limited edition holiday starter pack when you join Cometeer. Go to Cometeer.com/JTrain for an exclusive holiday starter pack and get a free travel tumbler when you sign up. I love the tumbler. I use it all the time. That's a free fellow travel tumbler when you sign up at cometeer.com/JTrain. So go check out Cometeer. I especially this time of year, curling up with a cup of Joe here with Doug Key, Mother of the Year at Doug Key Comedy. That's the special. Okay, you ready?
Hit me.
Luxury Lounge, home warranty hell. Jarrett, first off, congrats on the special. It was amazing. And my husband and I are comedy critics, not for real, but we both loved it. Found your podcast after watching, so I'm a new listener and love the Luxury Lounge. Thank you. Here, this is the dream. Here's my gripe. Settle in. Home warranty companies make my blood boil. Their goal is to do anything, literally anything, except what they promise to do, i.e. replace your broken shit. I have had a technician out here 3 times now in the past month to fix a dishwasher model from 2012. If I hear, let's give it a try, or this should work one more time, my head will explode. And each trip is $75. If your math is the same as mine, I'm out $225 on top of my monthly premium just to be a member of this suckers club. And I've cleared 3 full days because they only promise to arrive sometime between sunup and sundown for this ish. And this story doesn't end with, but at least my dishwasher is running great. No, it still won't click shut and leaves a grimy film on everything. When the hell do we call time of death on this 11-year-old appliance? P.S. I loathe washing dishes, and I have 3 small kids, so we are used to running this thing twice daily. Thanks for giving me a place to bitch. Love the podcast. Sincerely, my fingertips will be wrinkled for the foreseeable future. What do you think, Doug Key?
Well, first of all, I'm a little biased here because I like washing dishes by hand. I might be in the minority. I think it's therapeutic. Just you're not on your phone. You're forced not to be on your phone, and you got warm water coming out. You're scrubbing your dishes to your liking.
You know, it's funny. It's like you and I understand what you're saying. I think when you have 3 kids, your version of therapy changes. Like the idea of, like, I agree with you. Like, these are like single dude problems, you know, like these are like live alone things where you're like, oh, it'll be nice to clean the dishes so I won't be on my phone checking Instagram notifications. It's like this mom is like, I get on Instagram for 10 minutes a day while I take a shit, you know, like I understand. But I agree with you. I hear what you're saying.
But also, if you own a home, I feel like you're kind of signing up for those. Like, those are kind of basic issues that, I mean, maybe if it was included in your warranty or whatever, and somebody is responsible, you're paying for that luxury of having them replace it. It should be working properly.
Well, here's the thing. And the problem is the home warranty is like, you basically signed up for this. I know of this because I own an apartment, and the option of like, you sign up for a monthly deal where like if anything breaks, they got a guy. They got someone. And the problem is, and you've signed up for, when you sign up for a generalist, they do nothing. You know, it's not like you're getting the warranty for this specific washer. So you've signed up for something that in theory should work. But if you know everything about everything, you know nothing about nothing. You know, it's like this, like, you know, what is it? If you got 2 quarterbacks, you got no quarterbacks. Like, if you don't, you know, it's that old saying of like, master of everything, master of none. You know, I've now done 3 different sayings that aren't even right, but I'm saying,
yeah, but I got you. Like, when you live in a small town, you know a guy for each, you know, an electrician, a plumber, the furniture guy, the HVAC guy, the electrician. But when you're in a building, or I mean, I don't know. I feel like you got to have the specialist for each thing.
That's the problem. And this person is like, you know, and this is the problem with like moving away from your hometown, like moving to a new city. You don't know the people. You didn't grow up with the guy who knows a guy and the person who fixes the washing machines. This person is lost. So they went to someone. And here's the thing. You're checking off the thing in your brain that says things in this house are going to break. Okay.
Right.
So here, let me throw money at this to make me feel better. Now I know I got a guy. But now you have a guy that doesn't know how to do anything. So now you have this guy who you're paying, and you're mad that you're paying them, but you got nowhere else to go. That's the problem with this person. They're like, they don't got a dishwasher guy. They got one guy who kind of knows how to do everything and is just going to keep trying to come over. And they got to pay $75 every single time because they don't have to pay the one guy who knows how to do it, who they don't even know who they are, $500. I'm with them. This stinks.
I constantly think that when I'm like, every time, you know, it doesn't even have to be like a repair guy, but I always imagine, like, we've all had first jobs, and like your first week on the job, you're still learning. I'm just always imagining that guy being like, I just got this job. I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And you want to be nice, you want to be sympathetic, be like, oh yeah, you'll learn one day, but like I want the best person on the job.
I don't want new guy today. And that's the thing. You're probably dealing with a guy who is new guy territory if you're these home warranty clubs, because they just are like, yeah, I could hypothetically fix a dishwasher, but what kind do you got? Do you have, and then they always look at you, they'll go, do you have the owner's manual? And you're like, we don't keep these things. Like, they'll be like, do you have the directions? Like, no,
I would be able to do that if I did. I can, like, we're the same person now. You're just the bullshit artist.
Right. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Doug Key at Doug Key Comedy. The special Mother of the Year. It's out on YouTube. The link is in the bio of this episode. It is in the bio of Doug Key's Instagram. Hilarious comic, Luxury Lounge. What the F do you sell here? I live in an urban area where there seems to be a high turnover for small businesses. I want to support the local economy and I'm excited to try the new spots, but new signs turn up constantly with names I don't recognize. And it's almost impossible to ascertain what these businesses are selling. For example, it turns out The Alley is a tea shop. Why would you name a tea shop The Alley? You can't tell this unless you go all the way inside. Another place is called Fresh Pop. But when I looked into the windows after hours, I couldn't tell us they sold flower arrangements. Fresh Pop to me is a popcorn place, not a flower arrangements.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell they sold flower arrangements, makeup popsicles or candy or some combination of these. Okay, there's another new place under construction called Nice Guy with no further icon or indication what will be sold there. Though if they were to actually sell nice guys, that would be something. Note to business owners, if I have to come inside your store to see what the F is for sale, or even worse, if I have to come in and then ask someone what the F is for sale, maybe your hipster decor is getting in the way of your sales numbers. Thank you for providing me a forum for the trivial complaints we need to share. Love your pods. What do you think, Doug Key? Do you have any experience? And
I love the fact
to me
that
they live in to me this is like a nice area, because I don't think these places open in like dangerous areas. So it feels like they're in like an open air mall, and you're just like forced to be like, what is that? And it is annoying. What do you think? Have you dealt with this?
I think as a business owner, that's brilliant to bring people into your store based on curiosity and intrigue. Like, I also love the fact that somebody's inconvenienced by the ambiguity of a name of a store. Like they're like some sort of confused vampire that's just like, I won't go in there unless I know what it is.
I mean, I live in a neighborhood. I'm in the West Village, which is like chock full of stores like this. Stores that you're like, how do they make money? What do they sell? And then you go in and you're like, wait, there's a place actually on the corner here. And I'm like, is this a nonprofit? It's called Whalebone, I think. And I've done shows there.
Oh, yeah. They're great.
What is it?
Whalebone. So it's kind of like
it's a magazine.
It's a magazine, but it's kind of like a lifestyle brand where they sell I think they sell other retailers and stuff.
I've gone in there many times and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what descendant of the Rockefellers? I get more annoyed at not understanding how they're making money than that they don't. Because I walk in there, I'm like, what rich fucking asshole was just given money to like started this Whalebone place? And I'm sure I'm being insulting to whoever it is, but I'm like, no one buys magazines. They do comedy shows all the time. No one buys magazines. I see that it's a magazine, but I'm like, I've seen the hats. The hats are kind of cool, but like, I don't think these hats are sending any kids to college. Like, what is this?
I think during the pandemic, Mark Normand and I opened for him. We did the show in like the end of Montauk. It was like the tip of like Montauk's at the very end of Long Island, right? That's
right. Like another area with a bunch of shops owned by people who don't need money.
Yes.
That's what it feels like.
It was at like a beach house. It was like a Whalebone pop-up shop. And the show was on the back deck. And it was for like 17 people in Adirondack chairs during the pandemic. And it was like they were selling like hot sauce. It was like a hot sauce pop-up.
Yes.
Like craft beer. And like, I'm like, how did they afford to pay Norman to come all the way out here. But they were cool. They were super nice people. But you're right. You're like, who's coming all the way out here to buy hot sauce?
Well, that's the thing that you get. There's a lot of these companies now that I'm like, can you stop wasting our time? Like, I don't want, like the story of like, we make the hot sauce that also feeds the children of, Portland, Maine, the hot sauce needs that they have. And you're like, can you just tell me that you don't need this company? Like when I see like this person with like Fresh Pop and Nice Guy and The Alley, like, I don't believe, I think there's this like the income inequality in this country is so huge right now that I'm like, right. I kind of look at these stores and I'm like, okay, what's the grift? What is like, is there someone that owns The Alley that's like, if we don't sell any tea bags today, I can't pay rent? I don't believe that. Like, I feel like there's like this like brand of store that doesn't need to make money but charges you $7,000 for a tea bag. And you're like, why am I involved in this? Why am I involved in this fake business to tell your parents that you're doing something?
Yeah, I think it's a front. I feel like, I don't know. It's like a passion project for rich entrepreneurs, I guess. And it's the project that you give to your relative as a tax write-off or something. Right.
And sometimes I think the grift is that we're involved in is for them to act for everyone so that they can say they have a job. Instead, like I guess I'd much rather my debutantes be debutantes. Like I'd much rather like I don't even know if I'm using the right word. Like I'd much rather my like Rockefeller just be a Hunger Games winner and just live that way instead of telling me like, well, I have a business and we sell, socks for babies. And you're like, what? This isn't a store.
That's crazy. I used to run a comedy show in Newport, Rhode Island, which is, a big vacation.
Another area.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
It was well, she's in like westerly Rhode Island or Watch Hill, Rhode Island. But Newport, it's very, very touristy, and this perfect bar for comedy. I had it downstairs under kind of like the cellar. It was like perfect. They sold the bar and now it's a bookstore. And it's like, no, why? And I've never seen anybody in this bookstore. How is it surviving?
How did it go from alcohol where you're like, we got to sell these $5 Bud Lights. We got to get them out here. We got to bring people in. We got to have a comedy show so that we can bring people into like bookstore. How does that happen?
I don't know. It's insane. And they're all like super expensive books. And it's not like a local area where it's all the townies that don't read books.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com here with Doug Key. We're sponsored. We do have businesses that need your business. This is a good one. You've got holiday parties to attend. Make sure you look sharp with Indochino. The brand that brings your custom fit favorites is having a huge Black Friday sale in-store and online starting November 6th. Okay, so people, made-for-you suits start at just $349. That is, I can't tell you, a suit that is made for your body is worth its weight in gold, and they're doing it. Made-for-you suits start at just $349. Premium shirts start at just $49. Get more looks for less with Indochino's unbelievable bundles. 2 suits starting at just $749 and 5 shirts at $249. I mean, that's got you set up for like years to come.
Yeah.
Give yourself countless customizable options with new styles and fabrics added throughout the sale. Every suit is made to fit your exact measurements, so you'll always feel best dressed. I got to say, I have stuff from Indochino. When I wear it, I just feel good. It's made for me. 99% of people can't just pick something up off the rack. You got to get something that fits you. And when you feel good, you look good, you walk better. It's just a whole body high with hundreds of high quality fabrics to choose from and the ability to customize your clothing down to the buttons. And when you've been a part of the process of making what you got, you feel better in it. Indochino lets you get that luxury look without the luxury price tag. Refresh your wardrobe with the best prices of the year during Indochino's Black Friday event. Secure your appointment now with sales starting in-store and online November 6th at Indochino.com. That's Indochino.com. Love it, love it, love it. So get involved with Indochino here with Doug Key. Return to office laptop charging headache. Okay. Jared, at the risk of wading into soul-sucking small talk territory, return to office sucks. My office has desk setups that consist of monitors that can be disconnected. My office has desk setups that consist of monitors that can be connected to via a single cord that handles both charging and display. While these cords work fine when your laptop has a well-charged battery, they are completely useless if your laptop is dead. For some reason, this cord does not have the ability to charge a dead laptop. Only add charge to the one that's already alive. I show up in the office with only my laptop having left my standalone charger at home due to my misguided assumption that these charging cords would be able to charge a laptop. Instead, my laptop sits on my desk for 15 minutes, occasionally flashing the charging symbol, giving me false hope until I'm reduced to panhandling to people on my floor I've never met before for a standalone charger I can use to jolt my laptop back to life. Embarrassing. What is so difficult about setting up a charging cord that passes enough power to bring a laptop back to life? Why can't we have one cord that charges a laptop and another one that connects to the display? It's especially frustrating since I work at a tech company. You're a tech company that can't charge a laptop. That should definitely have this figured out. It's 2023. I can ask a bot to wire an English paper, but I can't charge my laptop. What do you think, Doug Key?
I mean, the irony of a tech job not providing you the proper technology to work is
do
hilarious.
The job.
Yeah. That's like, it's the same thing with like healthcare. How like healthcare, it's supposed to care for your health and it doesn't. So it's the juxtaposition is hilarious. But I don't know. I mean, maybe ask your supervisor for something that works so your productivity is better.
Here's what I love. I know what's going on without them telling me what's going on. You know, the question inevitably becomes, why are you showing up with a laptop that isn't charged? And it's because I was in bed with my computer watching a movie. That's why. And I fell asleep to my computer. I do the same thing. I bring my computer into bed.
Sure.
You put on, whatever streamer you're into, and you open the computer and you fall asleep next to it as if it's your wife or your husband. And someone at work is going to be like, and the problem with this is someone at their work is going to go, well, why isn't it charged? And now you have to like let them in behind the curtain more than you ever wanted to let someone at work behind the curtain. Like, I don't want to have to say, I sleep with my laptop because I don't have a significant other to sleep with, and I like watching The Office because that's the only thing that will put me to bed. And I'm 38, and I live by myself, and the laptop doesn't charge in my bed because I'm afraid that if I plug it in while I'm sleeping, it'll explode because my mom told me she saw that on the news one day. Like, all of this stuff is like horrific to talk about. And it's like, if they just had a cord that would charge your laptop, you wouldn't have to admit to these people that you don't know at work, like, hey, do you got a laptop cord? Do you got a charger? Please, you're walking around like you're panhandling in the subway. It's horrific. I don't want to talk to people on that level. That's the problem.
Yeah. It just reminds me of the kid in school who, like, if you forgot money, he was always trying to ask you, hey, can I borrow money for for the soda machine or for lunch today? And you're like, what's going on? Can you scrounge up $2.50 at home?
Well, why don't you have any change? Well, mom and dad are going through a tough time. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to hear that.
I always appreciated the guy that would always lend money, and he had like a book where he'd be like, all right, Tommy, you owe me 75 cents. And he was like a bookie of high school. I like that guy. You could always tell who was going to be okay with money for the rest of their lives. Like, someone like that where they're like, okay, I'll you're just going to have to do a 2% return. Like, they knew that when they were like 8. Yeah. They understood interest. Yeah.
Right. They're loan shark to get you, a soda at the machine so you can get a Powerade. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Doug Key at Doug Key Comedy. Go follow. Mother of the Year. That's the special. It's on YouTube. Luxury Lounge. Former coworker visits the office. Jared and guest, let's get into it. I used to work with a guy who I hate. Good start. I like this person.
Don't we all?
He wasn't particularly good at his job, and he talked down to women. I was thrilled when he got another job, and I figured I'd never have to see him again. I should have known better. I live in D.C., and networking is a big thing here, especially if you work in politics, which I do. So people like to stay in touch professionally. I will say D.C. is the home of staying in touch with someone from work that you really don't want to. Like, it feels like everyone, I just did shows in D.C., it does feel like everyone's always at a networking meeting. Like, everyone is always on, a little bit like, hey, what's going on at the office? Like a little that way. Anyways, when he left, his wife was about 7 months pregnant. Fast forward a couple months later, and he shows up to the office to visit. He brings the baby. He popped in unannounced, so I couldn't even plan to be out of the office. Instead, I was forced to pretend to be happy to see him and his stupid baby. Your job is not like college where you need to return for a homecoming reunion. Go away and never come back. Signed, you don't even go here. I couldn't agree more. 2 months is also not long enough. I agree.
I just left New York. I moved to Massachusetts recently, and I left New York, and I went back to New York to bring my keys to my landlord, to return my keys, and I worked down the road, and I had every opportunity to go and pop in. This was a couple months later and be like, hey guys, remember me? But I was like, I'm not that guy. I'm not going to go and be like, homecoming, baby, I'm back 2 months later.
What's there to even talk about with these people? It's not like people you shared like intimate moments with. Sure, maybe some people in an office were like, yeah, like I have a wife and kid, but like the idea that he comes back and he's like, hello, office. Like, I don't know, like, do you have nothing to do? Don't you have other things going on? I'm with you. I would never go back.
That's that main character syndrome where they just feel like they're like, that's the end of the movie scene, right? Where it's like, he's back.
Right. Everyone at this office ceased to exist from the universe and have their own lives and their own jobs because you left. Yeah. When you left, the movie left with you. And it's a huge admission to how much of a narcissist this guy is.
Right. And nobody's wondering, I wonder what the baby looks like.
No.
Nobody cares.
Looks like
we
baby.
can see a picture. Yeah, it looks like a baby.
If we gave a shit about you, we'd be following on social media, and we'd also make a plan to see each other outside of office hours. Like, that's the true measure of how you use your time, how important someone is to you. The true measure of someone being important to you is, do you make the time outside of the places you have to be to be in a place where you don't have to be with them? And what this person is doing is they're taking advantage of the prison system that is your office. None of you can leave. He gets people that have to be nice to him.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. And honestly, he's avoiding the honesty that comes with, hey, want to get together and see my baby after work? No, I got other things to do. I don't need to see your baby. Send me a picture. If they actually put themselves to the test of hearing what people honestly thought, which is to say, hey, I'm having a get together because I'm back in town, and then they'd see no one showed up, then they would have to realize they're not the main character. No one at that office liked them.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. No, I'm on her side. Or whoever wrote that, him.
When did you move? You're back in Massachusetts?
Yeah, we moved back. My lady and I were actually having a baby.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Don't bring it to the office.
I will. That's the thing. I'm not even gonna go by myself. I'll send a text to be like, "Hey, I'm back in." Like years later, I'll be like, "I'm outside. If you guys want to come say hi for a quick second, that's fine. No problem. If not,
in the cold, no jacket because you guys run hot."
Yeah. I moved back home, and so we're gonna have the kid in 1 month. And,
oh my God! So you go back to Massachusetts, and are you happier in Massachusetts, or do you miss the New York City big city living?
I miss it. But it's like the grass is always greener, of course, and like you grew up in Massachusetts. It's quaint, the foliage, the neighborhoods, the suburban life. But it's close enough. Like I was, I do a festival in Newport, so I was driving back from New York to New England like all the time.
The festival in Newport, it's called the Rogue Island Comedy Festival.
Comedy Fest, yep.
Comedy Fest. It's fantastic. It's a cool thing because it's fall in Newport, right?
Yeah, we do it in October and we do it in May, Memorial Day weekend now too. We do it twice a year because it's the October one would sell out. It got so popular, and I'm like, why don't we just do the same thing on another touristy holiday weekend in Newport?
Right, and it's like a time of year to go to Newport that's like fun because it's like not the peak,
Yeah, all the beachgoers are gone. It's an overlap of like, tourists and locals coming out in October, so it's a good mix.
Yeah, definitely go follow Doug. I've done the festival. It's great. And you're going to love it. So it's like a cool, I always, when people come here with like their live events, it's like, what's something to like change things up? Like I would say like, if you're going to go to like Newport, hey, let's plan a trip around the festival and we get to see some fun shows and we see some great comedians and be in like a cool area that like is specific to that area. Like, you don't just go to Newport. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of history. People come from New York to come to the festival, and I'm like, they could just go to the city and go to the cellar, but they want to come to a destination spot and see a New York style show in Newport.
Great.
So
at Doug Key Comedy, go follow Mother of the Year. That's on YouTube. So funny. Luxury Lounge, Starbucks nutritional info. Jared, all the feathers. My fiance and I brought our 12 friends to your Milwaukee show last year, and we had the best time ever. Well, thank you. They all became fast fans, and everyone enjoyed your special. To my complaint, I'm a basic bitch who loves to treat herself to Starbucks. Of course, I indulge in the pumpkin spice lattes this time of year. I love that Starbucks has the mobile order feature with endless customizations. However, when you make a change to the drink, the nutritional info doesn't change. For example, in my PSL, I switched to oat milk and way less pumps of pumpkin. I know this makes my drink quote unquote better, emphasis on the quotes, because I know it's still horrible for you. But if I'm going to make the customizations, I'd like to see the calories and sugar content drop with my changes. When I complain about this, people tell me I should support local. I also love to do that, but I am a third grade teacher, so I'm gifted an unreal amount of gift cards each year for many occasions. Anyways, with all the technology asking the nutritional information being updated as you make changes shouldn't be that hard. Thanks for the safe space to complain. A bitch trying to feel slightly better about her choices. I love this complaint. What do you think, Doug Key?
I mean, I'm a fairly healthy guy. I can either eat very healthy or just let myself go completely. So I don't enjoy a sweet coffee from Starbucks. In fact, every time I go through a drive-through, I always put my hand up and I'm always like, can I have half a pump of pumpkin? Just half a pump. And because if you say pumpkin, they're cranking on that thing.
Right. Right.
So if you're making an effort to do less, you want to be rewarded with the visual of like seeing those numbers, but I don't know, maybe just round up that way. Who cares?
Here's the thing. We have been put into this gamified world. Everything's gamified. When you date, you swipe right.
Everything's fantasy. Yeah.
Everything's fantasy. Everything's points. Weight Watchers, you got to have the right points. Delta, get your miles. Bonvoy, get your points. Do you want points or do you want the water? Everything is made that way. Starbucks, I'm sure the app has some sort of point structure where they understand the feeling of good that comes from the dopamine hit that comes from becoming a gold star Starbucks member. I don't know if that exists, but I'm sure there's a point system on Starbucks app that lets you achieve new Starbucks goals. So when you have an app that is based on goal achievement, that is based on grabbing the rings, for you to put the nutritional info on a pumpkin spice latte, but then it doesn't change when I'm trying to change it to a non-fat creamer or skim milk. When you change it from creamer to skim milk, it should allow me to get my points in other ways where I can now get the rings of like, I stayed under 100 calories on this drink. And you know what it also does? Here's the thing. And this is straight to your point, Doug Key. When you get any pump of pumpkin, they hit that pump.
Yeah.
Now it keeps them honest. If they knew that you were getting a drink based on 100 calories, then they would know I got to go half a pump because I've already made the promise that the nutritional info is given. They're trying, they're doing this for a reason. They don't want to be held accountable for the calories that they give because they don't trust their workers to do right by the order.
Yeah. No, that's true. And also, I feel like if you know, it's kind of like if you do a good deed or you do charity, just know intrinsically that you did that. You don't need to post about it. Same thing with these calories. Just if you're going to, make a healthier choice and it doesn't show that, just know that you made the healthier choice.
But the thing is, I know it, but if I'm doing it over the app, I can't trust that they're keeping to it. That's the problem here. It's not that... Like this person, they want it for themselves. They want to like not have to look at a drink. They're like, no, it says 700 calories, but it's actually a 350 because I've done the math in my brain that they're going to go. But then if it's not written on the app, then how can we trust that this is being done for us when they're making it at the Starbucks? This would put me in a position of like, no, I'm not ordering over the app. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go behind the counter. I'm going to watch them pump. I'm going to go, no, just a little touch. And then it makes you, what it turns you into is management. It turns you, it takes you from customer to working at the Starbucks, because if it's not on there, we have not made an agreement. The agreement is only for a pumpkin spice latte that might be 700 calories. Or maybe I read your order and I do the skim milk version this time.
Yeah. We got to combine her with the tech guy. Maybe they can come together and make some sort of app for this.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Doug Key at Doug Key Comedy. Go follow Mother of the Year. That's the special. It's out right now on YouTube. Luxury Lounge. Not enough hangers. Dear Jared and guest, I'm writing to you during one of my least favorite semi-annual chores, swapping out my summer clothes for my fall-winter wardrobe. I must admit, I do love to shop and can't pass up a great deal on a cute outfit, so I do own way more than any human would require. However, in my defense, I also go through my clothes frequently, and I am constantly donating items that I grow tired of and haven't worn in a while. But I still find myself having the issue time and time again. I simply can never have enough hangers to hang all my items in my closets. Yes, plural closets. I know I can just buy some at a store or on Amazon. However, that doesn't solve my immediate problem of not having enough hangers to hang the many items that I have laid out on my bed to put away. I've thought about buying them in bulk and storing excess ones for a rainy day when I run out. However, who has space to store 50 or so extra hangers? And have you ever tried to deal with a clump of loose hangers once they become all tangled together? Total nightmare. Thank you for allowing me a completely safe space to vent and not feel lonely. Sincerely, fed up and unhung up. What do you think, Doug Key?
Am I the only one that puts multiple articles of clothing on one hanger?
Yes.
Do you do that?
Yeah. No, I do that with like a belt.
I'm double bagging
and a shirt. Here's the problem with hangers. You never think of them until you need them. That's the problem. Is like, I'm not like, oh, I got to get the extra hangers. Oh, I'm on Amazon. Let me throw in an order for extra hangers. And if you did go on Amazon, you go, I'm not spending this money. They give them to you for free at the dry cleaner.
Yeah.
Why would I ever do this?
And that's that's the one thing that you always forget when you're going shopping. Everybody has the thing where it's been on their to-do list for a year, and they just constantly, they get home and they're like, hangers.
Right. My grandfather passed away, and he had like maybe 500 wooden, beautiful hangers.
With the clips.
The clips, all the versions, every version had the clips. It had the ones you'd find in the hotel. It had the ones the ones for your jacket. The one, and I remember, and it's just like this person saying, "Who has the room for 500 wooden hangers?" And there was a point where I was like, "I gotta get rid of these." I'm not Patrick Bateman. Like I don't have a place that, like I don't have a closet that is built with a mahogany closet. Like I had like garbage rental, apartment closet, not like mahogany rich, beautiful, I'm, an investment banker closet. So I had to get rid of all these hangers. And every time I'm without a hanger, I think of these hangers. Like because I'm like, I would never buy these. Only my grandfather would buy them. My grandfather would buy everything on like home shopping, all this stuff. He used to buy everything that would come across the screen. So like he obviously bought these at 2 a.m. It was a set of 500 that got you another set for free, whatever their deal was. So we had these amazing, beautiful hangers, and it was just too many. Like we had, honestly, the solution was to split them up between my brother, my cousin, and I, and we could all have our own hangers, but we just got rid of them. And now I have like 2 or 3 in my closet still. Every time I see them, I hate myself a little bit more. And it's like this reminder of like, 1, that I don't have the space for it. 2, that I gave up something that now I have to spend money on. And 3, my own inefficiencies as a human adult.
Well, this girl has the opposite problem, right? She needs more hangers.
Right. I mean, I wish to God that I could have sent her these hangers to get them back, or maybe in a shared hanger program. And that's the other thing. This person, they need the hangers. They don't have the space for them. But then you're like, you kind of do that thing where you go, I'll use the dry cleaner ones. And then within a month, they're like sagging and you're like, I'm just a loser.
Yeah. I don't know. When I move, every time I move, I always leave some hangers behind. Kind of like it's like a little like a chain letter that I'm passing on.
I do that with the window treatment. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Luxury Lounge here with Doug. He keeps sending in your Luxury Lounge complaints. Luxury Lounge Music Snob Edition. Jared, I hope you already know that you're the shit, but feather anyways. I'm running in with an undoubtedly unpopular opinion about popular old songs. I fucking hate them. What I hate more than popular songs is the fact that I now have to listen to Instagram stories on mute so that I'm not ambushed with everyone's horrible taste in music, especially when they choose a different song for every single slide and their unnecessarily long story for the day. Sure, free Britney. So happy for her, but please let her songs die. Everyone freaking out about NSYNC coming back or fighting over BSB versus NSYNC. Can we just fucking not? Also, I hate Crocs. Please skip this song, Betch. What do you think? They don't like popular songs. I'm with them a little bit. What do you think?
Sometimes somebody will post a song where I'm just like, this can't be good, like for anybody except you. You know, you're the only person that likes this particular song. But right. I will put like on a story, I'll put like an old, if it matches with the actual theme of the story, I'll put it on. Whatever, it's 10 seconds, skip away. But I'm not going to do it for a 10 slide story and have the worst mix ever 2003.
Right. Here's the problem. All nostalgia isn't all good. Right. That's the problem. Anything aged, just because it aged doesn't mean it aged well. So the idea that every Britney Spears song we should be obsessed with, just because what people don't do is they don't admit to, wow, this made me remember something. This brought me back to a time where I didn't have to open up bills and I didn't have to worry about my children and I didn't have to worry about the length of life and retiring and how much money I have and where I land in this great big world of ours. And instead they go, look at this great song from 1999. It's like, no. It wasn't a great song. It was a period of your life that you wish you had back. You hate your current life, and you're making us all listen to this song just so you can forget how you live right now. There's no admission to this. It's one thing to go, this song fucking sucked, but it makes me feel good because at least I feel like I'm 15 again. That's what they're doing, and they're making you go through the shitty music just so that they can have their moment where they forget that they fucking married the wrong person. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, I know.
NSYNC isn't great. Your husband sucks. That's the story.
Yeah, I put when people put songs to like make themselves look cool, I'm like, that's sad. You know,
right?
Like I see the, I'm coming in hot on like everything. That. I did put it once, but it was because I was in my grandmother's stair chair that was going real slow, and I put it on that ironically. And, but for the most part,
no,
it's bad.
Those are two different versions. The one is like shitty song that you're just putting up because it's nostalgia, because it makes you forget that you're 38. Yeah. And then there's the other song where it's like they didn't get ironic enough to like let us know that like they don't think they're the shit. Like when people, there was someone the other day put up like a video montage from their birthday party, and I was like, oh my God, you really think we're living in your movie? Like this, like I was like, this is the most narcissistic video. Like, and it was like the video was like the music was like this, you know, old Italian like hugging with all their friends, and I'm like, you really think you're the Godfather? You really think you have? What is going on? Like, why am I watching the montage of your fabulous birthday party? What am I doing? Why am I a loser? Why am I watching this? You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're doing it to like keep a record of all your memorable things, but no, you definitely want people to think that like, oh, I'm the shit. This is my birthday party. Everybody came, hot song.
And I guess like then I'm like, is this the reason this person's successful? Is that they don't go, who the fuck would want to see this? Look at how this makes me look. Do they not have that extra energy spent into like, who the fuck do I think I am to do this? Like,
yeah, they have no imposter syndrome, no healthy amount of imposter syndrome at all.
Right. Like when I go on stage, like I have a moment where I'm like, what if I came out on stage to like Welcome to the Jungle and I like high five with everyone through the crowd. And then I go, Jared, you're going to go up and talk about your fucking body issues. What are you talking about? Welcome to the Jungle. Put on a fun song, you know, that you walk out to too quickly and no one even hears, and fucking move on with it. Go do the show.
That's so funny. I opened for Nick DiPaolo years ago, and he told me they were playing like heavy metal songs, and they were like, yeah, we're playing this song. He's like, can you just not play any songs that's going to get people excited? We don't want them all riled up. And then I went out there and I hosted it. I was like, all right, guys, make some noise. And after the show, he's like, let me tell you something. Never say make some noise ever again. I was like, noted.
That's so funny because you know, there is that element of like, you know, sometimes someone hosts the show and they're like, are you ready for you know, it's like, for the man you came to see, the one that we all love. We should all suck his dick after the show. And you're like, no. Enough.
Yeah.
How about
I love the please welcome. Please welcome. That's it.
Please welcome this guy who's going to make you laugh, and then we're all going to go home and forget about each other afterwards.
Simple.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Doug Key, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Such a pleasure. Everyone go follow Doug Key at Doug Key Comedy. Go. The special. It's on YouTube right now. It's in the link. The link of it is in the bio of this episode. It's also in the bio of Doug's Instagram. I just saw it. It'll be all over the place. You're going to love it. It's called Mother of the Year. I'm Jared Freed. We're here every Thursday with your complaints. Keep sending your emails. Back next week. Boom.